Oh man, oh man. Oh man, it's busy in NFL free agency. What's up, everybody? Howie has not done anything this offseason. I don't understand what is going on with the Philadelphia Eagles in this busy NFL free agency. Philadelphia Eagles have done nothing but lose and lose and lose and lose assets day after day after day after day. I mean, look at the people who we've lost in this free agency. Never mind you that it's been a while since I've been on the microphone. It's been busy with work and it's been busy with life and other things going on. But just as busy as it's been in my life, it's just as been busy in the NFL free agency. We lost Jaelan Phillips to the Carolina Panthers. Reed Blankenship to the Texans. Jahan Dotson is a Falcon now. We lost Nakobe Dean to the Raiders. Hey, it's not looking very good in the Philadelphia Eagles land. Not only that, the Philadelphia Eagles are jumping through hoops to try and trade A.J. Brown. We haven't signed Dallas Goedert yet. We got no idea what's going on with some of the players on our football team. We signed Jordan Davis to a $78 million extension. Holy crap, that's a lot of money. I mean, look, ladies and gentlemen, I am as hopeful of an Eagle fan as maybe you could find out there, at least the past few years, although I do try to be a pessimistic Eagles fan. However, it's not looking very good right now. Let's look at some of these moves. Let's analyze some of the moves. Let's talk about Jordan Davis for a second. We gave this man 3 years, $78 million as an extension. Basically, the guy gets $65 million guaranteed over the next 3 years. Now, it's also embedded in the contract, the 5th-year extension that he gets because he's a first-round draft pick. So basically, over the course of 4 years, he's getting damn near close to $90 million. For a guy who just last season, maybe he had his best year of his career, but it wasn't anything where you looked at it and you're like, wow, that's like Chris Jones, Dexter Lawrence. That's those types of players, type of season. It wasn't like that. Not only that, I mean, the guy only plays he only plays 2 downs. He's not even a 3-down player. Not a pass rusher. He just this season got in shape. And I don't know about you, but it's not like we were great against the run. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. It's because the offense was awful, partly because of that. But the defense was excellent. I understand that, and he played really well. But that's 1 year out of, 4 years of his career thus far, where you looked at it and say to yourself, wow, this guy could be a real cornerstone player. And Philadelphia seems to believe that over the next 4 years, he is the guy that you could build this team around. He's the next Fletcher Cox. And then you got Jalen Carter, who has been in a lot of trade talks this offseason where we were trying to get in the sweepstakes with Max Crosby. We're trying to get in the sweepstakes for Micah Parsons. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles look at Jalen Carter as an undisciplined, emotional, and quite frankly, not mature player. And that signing of Jordan Davis, that 4-year, $90 million extension, basically, maybe $90 million plus 3 years, $78 million. I mean, the guy gets a lot of money, $26 million per year. All of that points to the Philadelphia Eagles looking at Jalen Carter and saying, hey, dude, get your shit together, because quite frankly, we could picture life without you if you don't capitulate. And that's not to mention the fact that Jaelan Phillips is now a Carolina Panther. So we're lost another edge in free agency. I mean, these past few years, we lost Josh Sweat in free agency to another team who got paid $18 million from the Arizona Cardinals. And quite frankly, if he got paid that money by Philadelphia today, it would have been a steal. Then you look at Milton Williams last season. He got paid $26 million per to the New England Patriots, and he was just in a Super Bowl. Can you imagine if he were in Philadelphia right now and got paid $26 million as opposed to Jordan Davis? I'm not going to lie. I'd sign up for that any given Sunday. He's the better player. Let's just call it what it is. He's better than Jordan Davis. then you could potentially trade a guy like Jalen Carter for maybe a higher end pick or a player of that sort of caliber, if that's what they're going to try to do anyway, because evidently that's shopping Jalen Carter. You let Chauncey Gardner-Johnson go last year. You let Reed Blankenship go. You're going to try to trade A.J. Brown. You let Jahan Dotson walk. You don't know what you're doing with Dallas Goedert. I mean, and you let Nakobe Dean walk, which quite frankly we'll get to in just a little bit because I understand the rationale behind it. But all of these moves are suggesting that Philadelphia is selling. And it sounds to me like they're going for the rebuild. They're not looking for a Super Bowl this year, ladies and gentlemen. So that's my proclamation right now. That's kind of what this episode's about. Howie's doing nothing. Howie doing nothing in free agency. It's because we're not doing anything in free agency. Howie not going for the Super Bowl? It's because we're not going for a Super Bowl. We are rebuilding this football team. And by we, I mean Howie and Jeffrey. I mean the front office is looking to rebuild this roster. And my theory is they're trying to dump out all the players and all the people who they truly, truly don't want. They're trying to push out the quarterback and the head coach to build a new regime. Because this is what they do. They want the quarterback factory. This is what brings their claim to fame. They did it with Dougie P, Carson Wentz, and Frank Reich. They're now doing it with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. They're going to bring in new people in once again in the next couple of years. And you're going to potentially see them, again, within the next 5 or 6 years, be in a Super Bowl. That's how they build their roster. And they have a lot of confidence in their and a lot of hubris in the fact that they can build with some of these compensatory picks and build in the draft. But I'm going to tell you why, at least for the short term, these are not moves that you look at and say to yourself, this is exactly what you would want to do with this football team going forward. Because quite frankly, I don't know, man. This team, it smells like a 7-9 win team. That's what it smells like to me. And we're going to talk about the reasons why. But before we do that, it's been a long time, so let me introduce you to the show. This is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Asif Badi. And like you, I am a Birds fan and talks about the Birds, only the Birds, and nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. So please do us a favor here. Help us grow this channel organically by shooting this video a thumbs up, commenting your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribing to the channel. Also, check us out on audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your support on the opposite side of the camera, on the opposite side of the airwaves. Now, listen, Howie Roseman, front office, Jeffrey Lurie, whomever it is you want to address this to, ladies and gentlemen, they are not looking at 2026 as a year to get back to the Super Bowl. They don't believe that that's what is in their cards. Here's what I believe their team philosophy building scheme is whenever they build a football team, okay? They have looked at every team in 4 to 5 year chunks. I've said that consistently. I'm sticking by it because every move that they have made leads to that. They have looked at every franchise and every team and every rendition of the Eagles they have had in 4 to 5 year chunks. And within that 4 to 5 year chunk, they look at it and say, hey, what can we do to maximize this rendition of the team? And they go ahead and do so. 2017 to about 2021. Well, hell, it was 2020. It's 2016 was when we first got Carson to about 2021 where we ended with Carson. That year, 5-year period, we got one Super Bowl out of it. And we had really, really good rosters, a fun time with Doug Peterson, and ended up running its course. Then from 2021 to now 2026, what did we get? We got probably the greatest stretch of franchise history of winning football that we have had. 2 NFC title appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl title, and the greatest rushing season of all time in terms of statistical value, and probably the greatest defense in franchise history out of it. And again, that's all within a 5-year window. And all of that seems to be thrown in the trash as Howie Roseman lets players walk and lets guys who, quite frankly, again, I get why you don't want to sign Jaelan Phillips to $30 million per year. I understand why you want to not sign some of these players like back in the day when you didn't let Josh Sweat in the building because you thought he was being overpaid. But can you imagine if Josh Sweat were in the building right now for $18 million? What a steal that would be. Can you imagine if Milton Williams were in the building for $26 million, the same money that you're paying Jordan Davis? What a steal that would be. Can you imagine what it would be like for Reed Blankenship to be here for $8 million when I thought he was asking for $10 to $12 million, which is what was projected, and he settled for $8 million. I would have taken Reed Blankenship for $8 million a year. I would have kept Chauncey Gardner-Johnson if it meant having guys on the back end that can actually play. Right now, we're in such a position where we let Reed Blankenship go, and we're looking at Sidney Brown as the answer. And that guy stinks. Andrew Nakobe and Sidney Brown are your answers at safety. And I like Andrew Nakobe, but I'll be damned if that's the only guy back there. Because I know Sidney Brown can't cover. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Not only that, you throw in trade talks about Jalen Carter, undisciplined, unfocused player who is emotional and has contract disputes. I understand that. Maybe it's a little bit of a leverage game here, but you're dangling his name out in trade talks. You signed Jordan Davis to a very, very rich contract, a contract that I probably would not have given that man. And what exactly are you looking to accomplish with Jalen Carter? Is he going to sign with you? I mean, it sounds to me, unless they get a player like a Myles Garrett or something like that, or a TJ Watt or something, Jalen Carter is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle, and they're going to have to pay him $30+ million, potentially $35 million a year. And I think that's the game that Drew Rosenhaus and Jalen Carter are playing. They're saying, you got no other option outside of trading me or letting me play on my 5th-year option. And if I kill it, I'm making $40+ million. Eagles are playing a dangerous game with Jalen Carter because not only is he an undisciplined player, he's a very emotional player. And while I believe they think that his injuries in his shoulder is going to compromise his ability, there's nothing that anyone could deny about his talent. His talent is as good as it gets in the NFL. And when you have a player who's playing for big money, who is as talented as Jalen Carter is, most of the time they show up in the best shape, ready to work and play their best football. And maybe that's what Philadelphia wants. Maybe they want him to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to come in locked in. I'm going to play my best football and they're going to have to pay me. And maybe they're forcing him to say, hey, you need to pay this $40 million to me. And maybe the Eagles are trying to say, you know what? Force us to paying you $40 million. That'll be a great problem to have. However, you have Moro Ojomo in the lineup. You have Jordan Davis, who you just paid big money to. You have Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. You got, Zach Bond back there, who just got big money. You let Nakobe Dean walk because of it. And you have Jahad Campbell. I get it. You let Reed Blankenship, who's the quarterback of your defense, walk, and you replaced him with Sidney Brown. I don't know what you're going to do at cornerback, too. You're not bringing back Adoree Jackson, probably. So what are you going to do? Bring in Keely Ringo? I mean, this Philadelphia Eagles football team, I don't know what the plan is other than that it's a rebuild. All roads lead to this is a rebuild. All roads lead me to believe they are selling the farm on this rendition of the Eagles because it's that 5-year window. This is how they do business. And they're looking to rebuild for the next rendition of the Philadelphia Eagles because they're trying to push the head coach out. I don't believe they want to sign Jalen Hurts to another contract extension because, quite frankly, this whole past season, all we heard was shit and bad reporting in regards to the quarterback. They did the same thing with Donovan McNabb. They did the same thing with Carson Wentz. They're now doing the same thing with Jalen Hurts. This is how they do business. So listen, they're going to try to sell you on these 2026 NFL compensatory picks from all the players that they let walk. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, look, we got a 3rd-round pick, and we got another 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick from all these players who are leaving. I don't give a shit about these compensatory picks. I care about whether or not you bring in good football players for the Philadelphia Eagles to compete for a Super Bowl. Now, as a fan, I want them to win every game. I know that's not real. I know that's not the game plan. That's not a realistic proposition. But you know, every year as a fan, you look at this team and you think to yourself, do we have a shot at the big game? Do we have a shot at the Lombardi trophy? And over the past 4 years, Philadelphia Eagles generally can say, yes, we do. Yes, we did have a shot. And we've captured on one of them, went to 2. We cannot say the same about the 2026 NFL football team for the Philadelphia Eagles. There is no way in hell this team is winning more than 9 games, especially if they decide to trade A.J. Brown, which more likely than not is going to happen because they keep trying to facilitate a trade. More likely than not, if A.J. Brown leaves, they'll try to bring back Dallas Goedert, but most likely than not, they're not going to bring him back. And you did a brain dump on coaches. And you brought in Sean Mannion, but you got rid of Jeff Stoutland in the process. You lost Christian Parker to the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, maybe you replace Vic Fangio with Clint Hurt, but I mean, my goodness, next year, there's going to be no Vic Fangio on the lineup. And you're going to bring in a first-time defensive coordinator to run the ship again. I don't know. This 2026 NFL season for the Philadelphia Eagles looks like it's going to be a long one in terms of if you expect us to compete for a Super Bowl. I'm going into the expectation that we're not going to be winning the division. I'm giving that title to the Dallas Cowboys from what the moves that they have made. They brought in Rashawn Gary. They brought in Jalen Thompson, who's a really good safety. And they're getting better on defense. They brought in Christian Parker, a good coordinator, or a good coach, rather. Again, a first-time coordinator, so you never know how that's going to go. But they did have the number 1 offense last season. They have really good players. They brought in George Pickens once again. They re-signed Javonte Williams, who was a really good running back last season. I mean, they're bringing in talent, and they've gotten better, at least on paper, since trading Micah Parsons. They keep adding players to their roster, and Philadelphia keeps losing players on their roster. Think about the players that the Philadelphia Eagles have lost over the past couple of years. Josh Sweat. You lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You lost Darius Slay. You lost Oren Burks as a depth piece. Milton Williams. You lost Jaelan Phillips. You lost Reed Blankenship. You lost Jahan Dotson. I mean, like you lost a lot of really good football players on your team. And who were your replacements for them? We don't know who the replacement is for Nakobe Dean. Probably Jahad Campbell and Zach Bond. And how many more years does Zach Bond got of being a great player? You replace Reed Blankenship with Sidney Brown. Great. You don't know who cornerback 2 is going to be. Who's wide receiver 3? Darius Cooper? And it's not like we throw to wide receiver 3, so I understand. Do we know what the replacement is for Dallas Goedert? I don't know. Do we know if this offensive line is going to be good again? I don't know. What are we going to do if A.J. Brown leaves and we trade him? Can Devontae Smith take the mantle? Now, I believe in his ability, but we don't know that for sure. What's this offense going to look like with the new offensive coordinator and a new offensive system? What's this offensive line going to look like without Stoutland University? And if we draft an offensive lineman in the draft, can we guarantee that they're going to get the proper development? We can't. What's this team going to look like next year when Vic Fangio is gone? I am telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason have told you, based on their actions, they are in rebuilding mode. That's what they're doing. They are rebuilding, and they're looking towards the future. You're not winning a Super Bowl. You're probably not going to make the playoffs this year. There is no move that indicates that that's what they're going to do. I hate to break it. Again, it might be way too early for me to feel this way and way too early to be coming out strong like that. But quite frankly, that's what the vibe is right now. That's what the moves are. That's what every freaking transaction that's been made by the Philadelphia Eagles. And quite frankly, it's all transactions that lead them to losing a player. We're not winning more than 9 ball games. We're probably not making the playoffs. And Nick Sirianni will be fired at the end of the 2026 year because that's what the front office wants. They want to get rid of him. What say you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's been a while since I've been on the episode and been on the camera, but I got to come in hot. And this is exactly what I feel is happening. We're not in a Super Bowl winning mode. We are in rebuilding mode. We are in the 7 to 9 win ball team. Unless they do something spectacular in the draft or this offense just hits the ground on absolute fire running, we're not winning more than 9 ball games. Again, what say you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. A little bit all over the place, but quite frankly, there's going to be more time to discuss some of these transactions over the next few days. And this is an exciting time because the draft is around the corner. You got free agency period going on. There was the combine just recently. And again, not much going on at the combine that I really care to speak on, but because it's just a combine, who gives a crap? But a lot of transactional moves have been happening. So hopefully in the next few days, we see Philadelphia looking to do some moves to build the roster out. But I have a feeling that most of the moves that they're making are going to come via the draft. They're going to let players go. They're going to let some depth pieces go. You're going to have some head-scratching moves. And that's going to be the name of, the offseason. It's just going to be head-scratching moves because that's really all they can do. They only have, $13-14 million in cap space at the moment. I mean, there's really not much that they're going to be able to do. And like we said, all along, a lot of people who are Eagle haters and were vying for the team to fail, they would always say, you can't pay everybody. Well, damn it. The chickens have come home to roost, and we are in a situation where we are not able to pay everybody, and we're losing players left and right. And I guess another episode for another time is going to be whether or not Howie Roseman has fumbled the bag in terms of letting people go. Because quite frankly, the more and more you look at it, the list just gets longer and longer. And some of the moves you make, you're sitting there and you're like, well, damn. Do you really have to let that guy go? You really have to let him walk? You really have to sign that guy? And we're going to talk about that at another time. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below in regards to some of the moves, or non-moves rather, and some of the players that we have lost in free agency for the 2026 offseason. Let me know what you think. What are the expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles for you this season coming up? Because 2026 is a very, very important year for the Philadelphia Eagles. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you back here next time for the next episode of the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. Hey, thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out
on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles Podcast.